the one thing the Obama administration promised wouldn't happen under the new health care law. Workers having their hours reduced so employers don't have to pay for health coverage. And guess who's doing it? The government. The state of Virginia announcing a new plan to cut its part-time state employees back to 29 hours at most. It would save the state $110 million a year. Makes sense. That money would otherwise be spent on health insurance. So will other state governments do the exact same thing? Dr. Sreedhar Potarazu is the CEO of Vital Springs Technologies. We also have Paul Howard. He is senior fellow with the Manhattan Institute. Dr. P, let me start with you. Shocking. You're shocked, right? Can't believe it?
Yeah, I do business in the state of Virginia, so it's even more shocking that the state is making such a dramatic statement. You know, we heard a lot of small employers up until now talk about how they're going to switch some of their folks to part-time. But the state of Virginia has a lot of people, especially in community colleges and teachers, who are going to be affected by this, who are going to be now shifted to 29 hours. And now, unfortunately, these employees not only will be able to get health insurance, but they're also going to obviously take a pay cut.
Right.
And be able to pay for, you know, just survival.
Right. Paul, I mean, I guess what is shocking to me about this is that the government is making a sound financial decision, that they're like weighing the options and they're actually sitting there and saying, hey, look, if we cut back, we don't have to pay this. So I guess in a way I am surprised, but not for the reason you might think.
I think that you're seeing this echoed across the business community.
Yeah.
Every individual company is going to make a decision like this and say, based on our bottom line, can we afford to do this?
Right.
So it's not surprising that Virginia is doing it. It's going to be writ large across the country. It's one of those unintended consequences you could see coming that Washington just didn't pay any attention to.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. P, this is only the beginning. And when you look at specifically what was going on here, in Virginia specifically, they're looking at 23 two-year community colleges where they have tons and tons of part-time workers. A lot of them are teachers and professors, and they just realized that you could have them work, you know, these hours. They would still be achieving the same thing, but you could save all this money. The real externality, of course, though, is that these people will still have health care of some type when the system gets up and running, but they just won't have as much money as they had before. I mean,
well, we hope they're going to get health care. I mean, we're banking on the fact that the state level exchanges are going to be up and running, and that people by this October, which is not that far away, are going to be able to go onto these exchanges and pick some kind of health insurance plan if they're not getting it through their employer. But as we all know, there is still so much work that has to be done in terms of the regulations and the exchanges actually being put up, that a lot of these people who are now losing their benefits could be left with nothing.
Right. Paul, I mean, that is a real danger. As we look at this, we're getting closer and closer to the deadline. When you look here, and this could be a state law in Virginia, at least, thanks to language inserted into the state budget. But that law could come into effect long before we see the government apparatus get up and running with the health care. So these people could find themselves, thanks to Obamacare, with no health care and a smaller paycheck.
You're looking at a train wreck in motion here. We've got at least 20 states that have said they're not going to set up any state health insurance exchanges. The Fed's exchanges are running behind. They still haven't set out all the rules for what insurers are going to have to offer.
Yeah.
And the coverage that's going to be on these exchanges is going to be very rich. It's going to be very expensive. So people are going to get sticker shock along the way. I think this could be an embarrassing moment for the administration.
Without question. Then, Dr. P, in the long run, I always think that this just results in a two-tier healthcare system where you have, you know, the healthcare that people can't afford to pay extra are forced onto together, that is very crowded and does not have enough doctors serving it. And then once again, you have the people who are wealthy and can always take care of themselves paying a higher price for private health care that they know is going to be good.
I think we're really headed towards a one-tier system, and I think you're right, Melissa, is that those that can afford it are going to find a way to either get concierge service or some kind of fee-for-service and pay cash for it, and that will never change. But clearly the system is converging to a single-payer system where either the states are going to defer to the federal government to try and put in place these exchanges, or you're going to find a lot of doctors and hospitals now conforming to a single system. And everything that we've seen so far lends itself to that.
Yeah. All right. Thanks to both of you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.